The Mel Hurry Show and Mel Hurry Films stand with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA. All promotional interviews will be based on non-union members only until after the strike has resolved. Welcome to the Mel Hurry Show, when we talk all things film, media, and entertainment. Hi everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Mel Hurry Show. Today I am talking to Chelsey Bailey, who is the owner and founder of Queen's Productions. Welcome to the show, Chelsey.
Thank you very much, Mel. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So let's get started. Tell us a bit about you and a bit about Queen's Productions.
Okay, so Queen's Productions basically was born out of, from my insight, a real lack of representation and ownership that I kind of identified within the creative arts sector. Now, from a professional perspective, my background has been quite a diverse one. So it's involved everything from managing charities, raising millions of pounds for projects that benefited those people, particularly with protected characteristics. Managing services with marginalized communities, etc. Everything from LGBTQIA now, all the way to those people that have never had the opportunity to access education, training, employment, etc. So it's been a multitude. I also have kind of spent a lot of time as well within the National Health Service, supporting the people that are the most kind of fragile and vulnerable in terms of continuing healthcare, etc. So I really feel that kind of those professional experiences have kind of set the tone for me to understand what the needs are out there within people generically throughout the UK. What I also do in my other life is be very creative. So I'm a music producer and artist by background. And that's everything from being completely self-taught in how to produce, use applications, sing, write for other artists, etc. And one of the things that always resonated with me, Mel, through that experience, was how little representation there was, even particularly in music alone, from the writing side, the production side. You know, there was a lot of artists out there that were female, but there were a lot of people that were controlling those artists because they wrote and they produced and they had the facilities and they had the studios, etc. In that time as well, through doing a lot of other projects that I've done, that I've also kind of forayed slightly into the arts, I also saw again that there was a real kind of prevalence of projects out there that were focused on perhaps kind of enhancing a lot of the careers of people in the industry that had afforded more opportunity in terms of like a lot of male producers, film producers, script writers, etc. And from my point of view, I'm really big on equal opportunity. So I'm certainly not the type of person that believes that there should ever be any limiting factor or barrier that stops somebody from having the opportunity to fulfill their potential. You know, that to me is paramount. So one of the things that I kept seeing repeatedly throughout all of my professional career is a wealth of female talent and an abundance of it sitting without the mechanisms to do anything with that talent. You know, I'd see female writers, but they couldn't get the budgets. I would see female musicians, but they couldn't get released because they didn't write. And they weren't getting an opportunity to showcase their talent to people that did have those facilities in place. And they might have looked a certain way or wanted to put these artists in a box.
That's right.
And it's about talent. And it's about having the opportunity to showcase that God-given talent that you get. And Queens came about because on both a personal and professional level, I was like, I'm big on kind of reading quotes and empowerment and mindfulness. And one of my favorites is be the change. And it's like, be that change in the world. If you see that there is an opportunity that isn't being realized or potential that isn't tapped, we can sit and complain about it, or you can do something about it. And I'm a doer. And I will go the extra mile for anything I believe in. So for me, when I saw that there was all of this talent that was just sitting on this periphery, and people go into full-time jobs that they shouldn't have even been going anywhere near,
Mm.
because they had the ability to write, they had the ability to do something creatively, I thought, well, that needs to stop.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I need to harness that. And again, another thing that I saw that, again, I didn't see so much within the male side of the creative sector is there is always, excuse me, this perception that there can't be a whole bunch of really good females in any category.
Yeah, yeah,
You can have 20 good male producers who produce films, and they will always be recognized for whatever it is that sets them apart, or whatever their specialisms
of
are.
course. Yeah,
And females, as females, we're pitted against each other. I can't be good and like you.
yeah,
And again, that is nonsensical, because we're underrepresented. So more than anything, we have to harness all of that kind of progress that we're making, and we need to kind of amalgamate that together and move forward together, because we are still a minority, on top of whatever minority statistic you sit within that category
yeah.
itself.
That's right. Yeah,
So yeah, so what I want Queens to do is, I want Queens to find the finest creative talent. I want to take that emerging talent and give it a platform and some order and some organization. And I want to move that person from being I could be to I am.
yeah,
And that's exactly what I aim to do with Queens. And I aim to do that not only with just people that are technically on Queens as talent, but people that can be affiliated with us, because
mm,
whoever ever I encounter or I work with that I believe in and I believe has talent, I want to also move forward in the most productive and positive way possible for them, and Queens as an entity and as a movement and a production company. So the kind of that's where Queens comes from, and that's the intent behind what we're going to do.
amazing. That's absolutely beautiful, Chelsey, because again, and I think, you nailed it with what you just said there. Not I could be, I am. And this is one of the things that I know as a female minority, as well as just being female minority, is that, we do forget that we can, and we do forget that we've got a plethora of talent within us, and whether that is in creativity or whether that even in corporate, for example, it's about kind of making sure that we channel that and how we can really make something of ourselves. And again, you've hit something there as well when you were explaining it, that how women are pitted off against each other, and that is something that I've grown up with quite a lot of the time, that I've seen that it's easy for women to go against each other, then compete healthily with men for the right job roles, or for the right, the creative roles that we should be recognized for. So yeah, I absolutely love the ethos behind it and your drive behind it. Was there like a point where it triggered you that Queens must be like, it must come into fruition? Was there a point where it said, right, no, I really need to make this happen?
Kind of, yeah, I suppose it was like a little bit of an epiphany, really, for me. I think my whole life I've been the kind of person that won't take no, and I won't take no for an answer. And if I really believe in something, I will do it
Yeah.
until it gets done, and I'll
Same.
find a way.
Yeah.
And I think, I think we've all got different skills, and I think certainly that's more my area. But I think for me, it was, I'll be honest with you, I've got a really lot of talented friends creatively. And I'm always that person that gives everybody advice. So, I'm sitting here and I'm going to myself, right, okay. So for like the millionth time now, I'm seeing my friends losing opportunities left, right, and center, because
Yeah.
unfortunately for some of them, and I hate to say this, there is an expectation placed upon females that there isn't placed upon males, i.e. the aesthetic. Okay, I think all women are beautiful, and I think our beauty all resonates in different ways.
100%.
However, um, we are still in a situation where that aesthetic must fit whatever ideal that particular sector of person employing for these roles and these opportunities are. So, sometimes, my friends have fallen foul to that, and people I love and care about. And for me, that was an issue, because, if I go to a music concert, I'm going to a music concert to listen to the music. I'm not
Yes.
going there to say how that person looks exactly like this person walking on a catwalk. If I'm
Yeah,
walking on a
yeah,
catwalk, then yeah, I'd expect somebody to be a model on a catwalk, you know. But I think, you know, I kept thinking to myself, look, from a professional experience, you know, I certainly know that I have done a lot of anti-racism work. I have championed rights for very underrepresented people, and I kind of felt, how could I not do this for people within the arts? It
yeah.
kind of became that, because I kept thinking, look, you know, when I'd see a project and there was a need for something that wasn't there in terms of a supporting capacity,
Mm,
we went out and we built a project and we alleviated that issue because we educated people and we made a difference and we gave them the support and the foundation.
absolutely.
And how can I sit there and I keep seeing that these people are losing opportunities, or these people aren't being taken as seriously as their talent, you know, is worthy of,
Mm,
and keep going to bed at night, waking up and thinking that that's okay? It's not enough to tap somebody on the shoulder. This is somebody's life. This is somebody's dreams.
yeah,
This is really, really important. You know, if sometimes things aren't going to go right, no matter how much talent you've got, but there should not be a limiting factor because
yeah,
you're underrepresented.
yeah,
And that is something that I can't sit with. So my epiphany moment was, okay, I've heard enough of this now. I can't listen to it anymore,
yeah,
respectfully. And then I was like, you know, I'm going to go out and do that, because I do believe there is a plethora of talent. I've seen it, I feel it. And
yeah.
I myself am a creative individual, and I've had to put that on the back burner, you know,
Mm.
because life gets in the way, responsibilities, all the things that come in with being an adult and having children,
Yeah,
the stuff that comes with our lives.
definitely.
But
Yeah,
but then some of the finest talent is sitting in that box,
that's right. Yeah,
you know. And I believe, like, at the moment, that there isn't an accurate representation of all of the types in the diverse range of creative talent because of these factors.
yeah.
So we need to change that, and we need to do it differently than we've done it before, and I hope that's what Queens is here to do.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, for those again, viewers and listeners, make sure you do head over to the Queen's Productions website, because there is, a lot of information, some amazing, talented people that are already on the website as well that have got so much to contribute to media, as well as Chelsey herself, of course. But there's so much out there that we can tap into, especially in terms of resources. Do you feel like there is, however, there's a lot of restrictions against, like women of color in particular? Do you find that, maybe there is like we need to push more women of color into media that bit more?
Being honest with you, Mal, again, I'm going to call that a characteristic within a characteristic. So you
Yeah.
can remember when I was saying to you before about that. I mean, it's one thing on the surface, really simply making a sweeping statement like saying there's underrepresentation, but
Mm,
nothing more so than women of color who are already female anyway.
yeah.
And again, and the reason that I go into this is we are still at the mercy of very outdated perceptions of women of color and how we communicate,
Mm,
what we do. You know, we wave our hands a lot, we move around, the way we communicate, you know, it could be considered by those people that perhaps don't embrace or haven't got to know a lot of people of color as, you know, it could be aggressive, it could be confrontational. These are those little nuances, and these are those things that need to be dispelled, so there is an equal level playing field for women of color to be judged on their talent alone before they're judged by your perception of what they're like within that color that they are and within that identity that they have. And I think, again, this is where people's personal experiences or lack of information or lack of insight can really penalize a woman of color who's
mm,
creatively talented. And, you know, again, this is why I say, like, within Queens, this is something that, again, I want to champion. I want to have a diverse range of people that communicate differently, that have come from different experiences and are able to bring that to life, whether that is a film, whether they're giving you a portrayal of a life that they have lived that people don't see and understand, with barriers and obstacles that they face. You know, you have to bring that to the forefront. And if nobody gets the opportunity to do that, then where do we sit? We sit with these same perceptions, these same limiting beliefs, and we sit here with the same frustrations until it's remedied.
yeah.
So again, it's overturning that imbalance. And that is why I haven't limited myself to one type of media or art. I could sit here, I'm a musician. I could sit here and go, it's music only. Well, it isn't.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
if anybody that hasn't had the ability to articulate themselves in a creative way that they're passionate about and they're talented within. And that's why I'm not limiting, what we're going to promote.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's that's hugely important in terms of, not sticking to one type of media, but to embrace all of it. Because again, so many of us have got so much talent, whether that's behind the scenes, whether that's on screen, whether that's a bit of both. And the thing is that, it's trying to pave the way for women of any diverse background or any diverse physical background as well, not just always particularly around color, because I guess that's what we always tend to think about when we
Yeah,
think of the word diversity.
absolutely.
But again, it's about trying to make sure that each of us have got a platform and we've got a way of, we want to be able to see people like us on
Yes.
screen, on the news, reporting whatever it is that we want to see them in. We need to be able to see ourselves, because if we can't do that, then what does that mean for future children of to come? They need to see that there's doors being opened for them as well.
Yeah, oh gosh, I mean, Maya just hit the nail on the head. I think exactly that one. It's like you say, whether it's somebody as well. And I think it's kind of really important as well, like when we talk about diversity, that we open the scope and we talk about, LGBTQIA people as well,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
again, you could be somebody with multiple protected characteristics and you're not necessarily going to understand what is actually limiting your ability to be, to progress.
Yeah.
But it's also understanding the significance part that plays. So again, having people of color on screen, having positive
Mm.
representation from those communities beyond people's limited perceptions of what they think that community is involved with, or who they are by what limited interaction they've had with those people. But yeah, I think the more that we can do this, the more that we bring that human thread to what we're doing, because I think that's what's missing sometimes. We forget that we're all human, and when we start watching films and when we start listening to music that's poignant and has a sentiment behind it that we can relate to, we
Mhm.
stop going, you're black, or you're this color, or you're gay. You start
Yeah.
going, I know how that feels.
Yeah, you go by the skill, you go by the feeling of it,
Yes,
just as you mentioned. It's not about, what their physical appearance is, or whether they're female or male. You just go by that. It's a soul connection, really, isn't it?
absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing. So in terms of, say, like, okay, so we've got, a bunch of women here. They're
Mhm.
all ready to raring to go, and they're saying, right, I want a career in film or some aspect in media. What sort of advice would you give them, especially if they were coming into Queen's Productions?
Right. Okay. So this is where I get my little heads on. I believe, you really, really need to plan. Okay. So the first thing I would say is, look, we all know what it's like to have a fantasy, and we all know the difference between a fantasy and reality. So I think the first thing that you need to do is dispel that. So if you're really passionate about something, the first thing that I would say is do your research.
Yeah.
Make sure that what these women are entering into is viable for them. They might sit there and think, oh, I love these bits about going to these events. What's going to happen when you have to do a script 100 times and you have to do a rewrite? Can you contend with that? Do you have the resilience to do that? Get yourself some experience. Go out, get yourself some experience, watch professionals so you can really gauge, is that something that I feel is suited to my skill set beyond just being passionate about it? Is this somewhere that I can see that I can be happy? Because you're going to have to put a hell of a lot of work in the creative sector. So you need to make sure that it's something that is viable for you long term, because you don't want to, throw all your eggs in that basket and then find out actually your skill set sat somewhere outside of that. So that's my first thing. I think what else you have to do is you have to harness all the talent and skill set around you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's the number of people that want to do something but just don't know who to ask or how to ask. Ask. The worst that can happen is somebody
I'd
can say
probably say I'm one of them, Chelsey, because I'm like, oh, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. I'll find
yeah.
out.
But you see, the first thing is we waste a lot of time doing that, right? And there's people out there that will actually take great pleasure in going, you know what, I was able to help that person,
Yeah.
you know? And there are people as well, we've all got different skill sets. What takes me 5 hours might take you, Mel, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And if I don't ask you that question, there's my day gone. So
Mm.
it's kind of like, just again, it's that shared pool of expertise. Ask the question, get the experience. And the other one, be bold. You know, if you go out and you get that experience, right? And you go out there and you get all that training and you put all that work in, then
Yeah.
I would say that's where you need to be a little bit hard headed,
Yeah.
because you have to believe in yourself. You are in a sector where everybody thinks they're a star.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really have to, when you get to that point where you are accomplished and competent in your area, and you have to really work on what sets you apart and hone that and focus on that, you know, hyper
Definitely.
focus on that, and make sure you know who you are and what your brand is. People forget. You need, we all in some degree are a brand. So I think it's really important to harness that energy. Ask other people as well. Here's another thing people are scared of, that they're scared of other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Did you like that? Was that good? What do you think when you think of me? Because what you might think is your biggest strength might not be.
Yeah.
12 people in a line might see something else in you that you didn't even see in yourself.
Yes.
So you need to ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing. It's really, really good advice there. I think one of the particular things where you said about being bold, because it's something that I've said to someone previously was
Mm.
stop thinking in here and almost think from your belly, like from your like that fire in your belly, just push that out, and that helps you like with that boldness, because if we're too much in our heads, we're not gonna do anything. But when we're like thinking from like I literally just said fire in the belly, just go and
Yeah.
push out and just go and do it. That whole region from your chest to your stomach, obviously, for those that are into a bit of like chakras and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
we're talking
Yeah.
about heart, solar, and sacral chakras. You know, you feel like that empowerment, you know,
Yes.
the power chakra in particular, and you can think through it. And the amount of power that you have to change and turn things around is amazing.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you know, honestly, like, you know, like, and it's like mindfulness. Just take
Yes.
some time, spend some time with yourself, be comfortable with who you are, because it's only one of you. And that is actually a beautiful thing, because that is what will set you apart from somebody else. Because
Mhm.
I think sometimes people are scared to be lone rangers. Be a lone ranger. You
Yeah,
know, that will set you apart in this industry, because there is a tendency for people to follow people because they think
yeah,
that person has done a really good job, so I'm going to emulate them. You're never going to be that person. Be the
exactly.
best version of yourself you can be, and work on that.
Amazing. Brilliant, perfect advice there. And I mean, we could probably talk all day about this. I know obviously we've had some interesting chats already,
Absolutely.
but that's, yeah, this is just the epitome. I think we'll need to get you back on the show to talk about this a little bit more, Chelsey, especially once we've got a good amount of talent and everyone kind of, you know, coming to Queen's Productions. There'll be so much more involvement, I'm sure. So in terms of how would one go about joining Queen's Productions? Do they
Okay.
just get in touch
Yeah.
directly with you, or?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would say is the website is www.queensproductions.co.uk. Go on there. So the first thing is get au fait with that area. We are over the next 7 days going to be installing a music portal on the site. So from
Right,
a music artist point of view, you would
nice.
then submit your work there. I would say in the interim, for all of the disciplines within the creative industries, you can email us at queensproductions@gmail.com. Now, the best thing to do is, you know, just introduce us to who you are, what it is you're passionate about. Give us a sample of your work. So, for example, you know, whether that's a, you know, show reel,
Mhm.
headshots if you're doing modeling, you know, show reel self tapes as an actor, you know, music clips as a musician. Let us know what your identity is and who you are, because that is, for me, what is imperative. We can help those really talented people get to that level, but what we cannot do is give you an identity.
Yeah.
You know, you need to know who you are, what you want, and where you want to be. And we can absolutely take all of that and put you on a platform.
Amazing. That sounds great. And I think, you've basically explained it. Spend, just previously in your advice, if you spend that time with yourself, identify who you are, what you want to achieve, and how you want to get there. Once you've identified that, get in touch with Queens,
Yeah.
find out, basically put yourself out there is what I believe, Chelsey. Is that basically what you're saying?
That is
And then,
exactly what I'm
yeah,
saying. Yeah, and it's not
perfect.
about, and you don't have to think you have to be like a A-list actor.
Yeah.
If you've got talents and you know you've got talent, then come to us. And look, even if it's a case of you're not ready right now to be a star, but
Mm.
you'd like to do some volunteering, you'd like to kind of learn more about it, look, I will help you get to that next level. And so will my team. I've got an incredible team as well that are on boards, and they will also help you move forward with what it is that you're trying to achieve.
Amazing. Well, I'll make sure that we've definitely got all of those details in the comments so that people can get in touch with you, Chelsey, and as well, with the rest of the team. But, before we say our goodbyes, do you have any other message that you would like to tell the audience that we haven't covered already?
I would say for me, and I really just kind of want to put this out, learn to appreciate each other. Like, honestly, stop being in competition with what the next person is doing. Focus on yourself and your journey, and find appreciation and value in the pursuit of other people, whether they're achieving it, whether they're about to achieve it, because it's this union that will overturn the issues that we are all cumulatively experiencing. So that single solo me mindset isn't going to change the world, but that cumulative value for what each other's doing and that shared expertise, that is going to move us forward. So I would ask that everybody listens with an open heart and just tries to celebrate the achievements for much more women within the creative sector, because that is certainly what I'm going to be focused on doing, and those that affiliate with our work.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chelsey, for being such an inspirational, empowered, and action-oriented guest on the Mel Hurry Show. I really valued speaking to you today.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity, Mel. Much appreciated. You take care.
You too. I hope you enjoyed the show. For more content on social media, don't forget to follow at Mel Hurry Films on Instagram, or you can email me at themelhurry@gmail.com. Take care. Bye.